Okay.
Okay, gentlemen, we are here today with two of the legends and the giants of spine surgery of the scene, not just in India, but internationally. We have with us Professor Dr. Vijay Lahiri and Professor Dr. Atul Goel. And we aim to bring out the genius in them as well as how they interact together. So these are our giants for today. Both of them started their journey the same way. They started that at Nair Hospital and then built it up and went on to build up their careers in this hospital, which is the St. GS Medical College and KEM Hospital, which is even my alumnus. Professor Dr. Lahiri, my mentor and the mentor to a huge bunch of spine surgeons coming out of there, we owe everything to him, started in a very small town called Radhanpur in Kutch, which a family meant basically surrounded with diamonds. But this diamond came out of that and went into medicine. He started at the Nair Hospital or the TN Medical College, went into orthopedics with his mentors, Dr. Tanna, Dr. Chaubal, and Dr. Talwalkar. And of course, his main guru was Dr. K.T. Dholakia. He didn't directly work with him, but he was his Dronacharya. He inspired him to go on to larger things. And when he started doing spine, this case probably is what led him into specialty spine surgery. A simple case of disc surgery, which went with the discitis, but he ended having to fuse him and thus started the journey of the PLIF. And he and PLIF is what catapulted spine into the midline. This is really his Matrubhumi, or where he learned everything, in the cadaver room, in the dissection. And as this is something which brought him and Atul together, because Atul Goel was there at the same time and they worked together in the cadaver room. He did things which people had never heard of or never dreamt of, and people thought these screws transfixed the spine. And he then came on the international stage at this point at the Goa conference where Art Steffi came. And Art Steffi and everyone was amazed at the x-rays which he showed. And these are vintage x-rays of feet which were completely unheard of in those days. And his x-rays and his pictures left everyone speechless. But this is finally what got these two together. And this is what it's all about, the C1, C2 fixation, which we all know him for. So Dr. Lahiri is supported in his life by Madam Lahiri, Vandana, his wife, who supports him everywhere, not just in the operation theatre, but also at home. And she's like a mother to all of us. And a father to him was Dr. S.K. Pandya, the chief of neurosurgery, who encouraged him to develop spine and again grew that synergy between him and Dr. Atul Goel to make KEM a center of excellence. His thirst for knowledge is what really makes him buzz. And whether it was books earlier or now computers, he continues to read and learn every day. All his students are extremely grateful for him, and he has a huge legacy of spine surgeons in the city of Bombay. And this is what sums him up. I may not have gone where I intended to, but I think I have ended up where I need to be. So this is a very satisfied gentleman. Our other legend of today, Atul Goel, and these two call each other Chote Bhaiya and Bade Bhaiya. And their journey was together. Atul Goel, truly a giant of a person, not on the national scene, but on the international scene, truly representing India in the world of neurosurgery and spinal neurosurgery. He too started his journey at TN and then came to KEM, and their synergy grew there. He is a scientist of the top order, and the number of publications he has is mind-boggling. And he is one of the most highly referenced neurosurgical spine surgeons in the world. Those who have attended his talks knows that he owns the stage, he owns the audience, and he absolutely captivates everybody with the way he presents. But not just that, he's also loved by his patients, especially his pediatric patients for the craniovertebral anomalies, many of whose lives he has changed forever and who thank him at all stages of life. So Dr. Atul Goel as well is supported by his loving family, his wife and his daughter, very much a family man. But to us, he will and always will remain a giant. And his motto is, I have come here not to answer all the questions, but to question all the answers. And that is a giant kind of step which you have. So now getting on to the question answer session. Professors, welcome. to the talk. I'm going to stop sharing my screen now so that we can have all three of you here. Welcome again to this session. The first question, Dr. Lahiri, you came from a very small town, Diamonds. Why did you take medicine? Why medicine? Very short.
Samir, it was accidental. I entered in the medicine almost 4 years late than the usual people. And I was not having any direction, so I came in medicine.
Okay, so we can say an accidental wanderer into this field, which now fascinates you so much.
Misguided missile.
Misguided missile. But what a missile, I must say. What I must say. Dr. Goel, what about you? Were you always wanting to be a doctor, or is this something which you just fell into by mistake?
No, to tell you the truth, whether I wanted to be a doctor or whether I didn't want to be a doctor, but my mother knew when I was 6 years old that my son will become a doctor. So this was the premonition that my mother had. And I think that took me and that placed me where I am. Mother's wishes, mother's blessings, and mother's love. And I think
that's great.
Very important.
So the next question again to Dr. Lahiri is, you undertook your journey, medicine, orthopedics, and although I know that you loved everything, you love joints, you love trauma, I worked with you, you loved the whole field of orthopedics, but somehow spine was your main love. So what drew you to spine surgery, or what made you specialize in spine surgery?
Samir, my graduation and the post-graduation in the medicine was a total waste. After passing MS, about 3 years, I assisted Dr. Chaubal for the spine surgery. Must be about 300 cases of the lumbar spine surgery with HeLa transverse fusion, listhesis. And his meticulous handling, his integrity, his freedom of the thought, his compassion for the patient. And the spine is a very challenging surgery. In the field of orthopedic, spine is a very challenging. I've seen most of the great surgeons of Mumbai, orthopedic as well as the neurosurgeon. And as I was working with Dr. Chaubal, I developed a very good interest, and that was the only field which was require a very simple thing, good anatomical knowledge, skill, meticulous way, which all I learned in 82, 83, 84. And then it was obvious that I developed a deeper interest in the spine. And especially, I think so, most important thing, patient and my complication. I used to operate spine, and as you have mentioned, I landed up into discitis, which was so difficult to diagnose even at that time. And there was a strong desire to solve the problem of the patient, because all this was the learning from Dr. Chaubal, Dr. Dholakia. They were so sincere to their patient, and that is how I landed up into spine surgery.
So the complications is what drew you to it, because that's amazing. Yes. Because most people run away from complications, but you embraced your complications, ran behind your complications, and found a solution for your complications. So many of the techniques, because I know him personally much better than I know Professor Goel, of course, because I worked with Lahiri. I know that every problem and every challenge to him is more fodder to have a better solution. And that's how this man has grown. Dr. Goel, what drew you to spine? Because I know you are a great brain surgeon as well. You do your craniovertebral, you do your skull base, and you are so famous. Without blood loss, without anything, you used to finish the surgeries, but still you're known as a spine surgeon. So what led you to the spine?
See, I'll tell you, Samir, my story of my life. You see, I am not superbly intelligent or master or anything. But what has made me is the hospitals where I have worked. Like KEM Hospital is a mecca of patients and mecca of neurosurgery. It has been and it had been. It has a big legacy with great heroes of neurosurgery. And then I took up the department as head of department in 1998. So now for 24 years, I'm head of department. What really made me was the people with whom I worked. One is, Dr. Manu Kothari, as you know. What a legend of a human being and what a legend of a philosopher. Then, of course, Dr. Pandya and Dr. Venksalkar was supremely interested in craniovertebral junction. And then my real life started with my relationship with Dr. Lahiri. In 1982 or 83, when I joined neurosurgery, I joined in 82, I met Dr. Lahiri in 83. And this gentleman was an orthopedic surgeon. And we used to both work with under microscope and suture the glove and started suturing. Even neurosurgery, microscope was not a popular instrument at that time. And the way Dr. Lahiri, was interested in dissection, cadaver dissection, then he got hold of some rabbit and we started doing his femoral artery suturing. And then we started doing cadaver after cadaver after cadaver. I completely believe my stint of my life with Dr. Lahiri has really made me where I stand now on his shoulders, actually, to tell you the truth. You see, he was, if you don't know, Samir, he has created a generation of spine surgeons. There was no spine surgery before Dr. Lahiri entered into this field. In 1982 and 83, spine surgery was not in the curriculum of orthopedic surgeons at all. And the way Dr. Lahiri used to come to neurosurgery department, the way he used to observe the surgeries, he was operating there in orthopedic and coming and spending the afternoon and evenings in neurosurgery department watching surgery. And we used to both watch the surgeries, decompressive laminectomies and discoidectomies. And I remember in 1984, at that time, CT scan and MRI were not in existence. In 1984 or 85, during that period, Dr. Lahiri told me, you see, when there is a disc herniation, L5 disc, to do myelogram was also difficult. You cannot introduce myodil from a painful area. So he was discussing with me that it is impossible to, it is not necessary to do myelogram in a case who has L5, L4-5 disc herniation. It is a clinical diagnosis. And you can have a clinical diagnosis and operate without any imaging. This is what he said to me in 1984-85. I think although those things may not be really,
sure. But I think it's people who are ahead of their time which cause science to progress. I mean, if you go behind in time, you can't have progress. So, Dr. Lahiri, Dr. Lahiri, what do you say about this gentleman who calls you his elder brother, and you also always call him your younger brother? And he obviously, you are at different stages, you are different ages at that time. I think you may have already been a lecturer, and he was just a resident. But yet there is something, the synergy between the two of you. So how did you look on him at that time? Truly, today both of you are giants in your own name, but at that time.
Samir, I think so. I was a very giant at that time. Now I am quite calmed down. And I know that everything is having a good part, bad part. Every graph is up going, down going. Atul was so much interested in learning. Of course, he has started signing after 86 or so, when he almost completed his MCH. But as he has told, I think so, in a week, we used to spend 3-4 nights, almost 4 or 5 hours in the mortuary, not cadaver room. Samir, my 90% dissection was in the cadaver, not cadaver, it was in the mortuary. You will surprise, when there was a death, mortuary people used to come and tell me, Dr. Lahiri, body ho gaya. That means that there is a dead body in the mortuary. Come do. And I think so, that was the Indian, this thing as a, okay, we were allowed to do many things without any restriction. And Dr. Atul, he was always with me. And I will tell you few other people, Dr. Rajesh Manyar, Dr. Vinod Agarwal, they were my, mortuary work is not easy work. Now I will never enter in the mortuary because now I cannot tolerate that environment, atmosphere, smell. But that time we were so crazy. And Samir, if you believe in last 2500 dead body dissection or the dissection was only permitted in the 3rd century BC for 30 years. After it was started again in the time of Vesalius in the 16th century, 15th century. 1600 years, medicine was practiced on the animal, on empiricism, but then the modern medicine started. And I think so, all the learning was in the mortuary. And all these people, Atul and Rajesh and Vinod.
So Dr. Goel, how much would you attribute the mortuary or the cadaver lab to your skills? Because you are also a fantastic surgeon. We've seen you operate. You go so fast that people can't even see what's happening.
Samir, yeah. Samir, I couldn't hear. Can you repeat that?
Sorry. How much do you attribute to the mortuary? Because we have seen your skills as a fantastic surgeon and you are fearless. So how do you, and you never stop bleeding. I think you're used to operating in cadavers who don't bleed. So maybe that's one of the reasons.
The one thing, if I have to give a message from this conversation, is that, of course, you can become good surgeons, you can become brilliant surgeons, but you cannot cross a line unless you have a very huge experience in dissection, in cadaver work.
Yeah.
Cadavers are, from there you begin and you go beyond a line. You see, right. The dissection which we used to do with Dr. Lahiri, of course, the number of dissections of anterior cervical, each and every fiber of the cervical spine, muscle or nerve, were completely rehearsed. Once I'll tell you that we started doing transoral surgery. One in cadaver, we were not allowed to do any other dissection so we were allowed to open his mouth. And Dr. Lahiri got that Killen retractor from ENT or somewhere he got. And we opened the mouth. As we opened the mouth of a cadaver, inside there were maggots in the mouth. So we were wondering whether to do or continue the dissection or not. But what Dr. Lahiri did, he took a mop and cleaned the maggots. And we started doing dissection. And you will not believe we did the dissection for 5 hours in the night from 11 to late in the morning on cadaver, on transoral surgery. At that time, transoral surgery was quite a popular kind of surgery. And I remember we doing odontoidectomy and then going to the jugular bulb and then reach the styloid process from the mouth. So that kind of beautiful dissection. And I still remember the wonderful learning that we had from the cadavers, and there is no question.
It is extreme dedication. So let me just get you directly to a point which, all of you, which gets every one of us riled up. And that is regarding this article. So this article was published by Jürgen Harms in 2001. I visited him in around 2000. And when he showed me this article, I showed him an X-ray which was there with me, a slide, and his jaw fell down. Because I showed him an X-ray which Dr. Lahiri had done in 1984. And then finally, you published, you as well put up this. And this was the article which was published in this was the X-ray. And this was way before it. So what is the story? Like, what is the story behind this? Like, I want to know how this thing got developed.
See, the thing is, you know what, this technique was developed.
Yeah. So that was
And,
the top picture. The top picture was before Dr. Harms saw your X-ray. And when he saw your X-ray, he went down and his hair became white and his face became ashen after that. When he realized that it was not his technique.
See, we started doing
Yeah.
in 1987. Actually, 1987, we actually started doing. And from 1989, you see, Dr. Lahiri was not interested in publications and all. I don't think he's still interested. Maybe he doesn't read also. But, you know, in 1989, I wrote a paper on this. 1989, I have those transcripts. And I sent to Journal of Neurosurgery. And it was very heavily rejected. Then I sent to Neurosurgery, Surgical Neurology. I sent to several journals. And for 4 years, that article was being heavily, pushed back and rejected very vehemently and very aggressively, till the time I managed to publish it in 1994 in Acta Neurochirurgica. And now, as you know, this has become a history, and this is one of the most cited articles in the entire field of spine surgery. And then I tried to, me and Dr. Lahiri, we were presenting here and there. And I presented this article on several forums, in several books, and several, in several articles have also been published. And then, to our surprise, when Dr. Lahiri brought this article of Dr. Harms and showed that he's published the same thing, absolutely same thing, and he has not even referred to our names. So then we, from there, actually, not to take away the credit from Harms publication, that it really, despite my efforts, despite my great efforts to promote this, it was never being, nobody used to even look at it. But when Harms started, and then the various companies started making rods and polyaxial screws and popularized, he had a big role in popularizing it. And then, of course, our names entered into the business, and then the whole thing got,
Dr. Lahiri, how did this, because we are really run out of time, but we had so much to cover. Dr. Lahiri, how did this procedure got developed? Let's talk about this procedure, because we can't really talk about everything else now.
Samir, after visiting Goa meeting, I realized that I am having very small series of 40 cases, but they were extremely unique cases. Like I have never seen an ankylosing spondylitis, osteotomy, fixation, and in the plaster jacket, or rigid deformity, vertebral resection, fixation. And when I went to Goa, Arthur Steffi, Ralph Cloard, Paul Lean, these people were there, and they told that what you are doing, that is not even allowed to us in United States. Arthur Steffi was doing only lumbar spine. I got a tremendous stimulation, inspiration from them, and I have started developing my cervical and the craniovertebral work further. Before that, I have done this hangman fracture, which I was forced to do because he was having a maxillofacial injuries. Anesthetist told that if his C1, C2 is stable, we can anesthetize him for the maxillofacial surgery. I told Dr. Khanna, sir, give me 5 days. I will explore the possibility that whether I can do it or not. And in 1987, I did the hangman fracture fixation. And of course, many times at that time, literature was not easily available. Later on, I found it out that Megel is also doing this procedure. He was a bit earlier than us. But I developed a cervical spine interest, and then the mortuary, and then the experimenting, doing it. And then after coming back from the Goa, I thought that now I am having a very good work on the cervical spine. I must, as I know, proceed further. And that is how I have developed a C1, C2 fixation. I have developed it, but it is Atul who was having a, very, very, very strong mind and approach. that our article should get published. It is a work from the city of Bombay, from Nair and KEM. It must go in the literature as a landmark article. And that is how I land up into cervical spine work.
So we have to be really proud that actually the C1, C2, this whole area, which is like a mystery area to everybody, has been demystified by the synergy of the both of you. Elder brother and younger brother working together, each one in their own roles. Elder brother may be thinking, younger brother supporting, and younger brother publishing. Would that be a right? Would that be a right way to,
Just to summarize, you
Yeah.
know, screws. What are screws? You know, even several neurosurgeons till date do not know screws. What are screws?
Yeah.
You understand? So screws was a mystery in the even spine surgeon, even orthopedic surgeons at that time. Of course, screws were a mystery till
Yes.
the time Dr. Lahiri got interested, and Dr. Lahiri and the world got interested in screws. See, and craniovertebral junction was, you know, during that time was a mystery for everybody. Even today it is a mystery, but at that time it was mystery. So what if you can call a synergy, because Dr. Vengsarkar, with whom I used to work, was also very much interested in craniovertebral junction. Dr. Lahiri used to come to, we used to do decompression, and he was very interested in syringomyelia and all those things. So the screws and craniovertebral junction and the whole thing got together into this beautiful artwork. And I think there is no question in my mind that this has given life and wonderful life to so many people in the world, that there is, we can be very happy and proud of this contribution.
Absolutely. Thousands of patients, lakhs of patients are benefiting by your research and your hard work. So we are really way beyond time, and I had so many questions. I could really chat to you for 3 or 4 hours, but the organizers has given only 20 minutes, which have already overshadowed. So we're just going to end this by a quick fire round like Karan Johar. So both of you have to answer this one after the other. Dr. Lahiri, being senior, will be given first. First question is, money or fame? What is more important?
Nothing, Samir.
Neither. Dr. Goel.
No fame, no money, absolute work. What Lahiri said is the crux, is the basis of our, growth together.
Okay, Dr. Goel, what is more important to you, publication or patient outcome?
Absolutely patient outcome, no question about that. No question, no doctor.
But you have got thousands of publications.
So that is a byproduct of, if your patients are all right.
Dr. Lahiri, your answer, doctor, your answer I know, because you have not
I
made any
cannot write one sentence properly. I cannot speak more than 3 lines properly. So I am not a writer. I am not a publisher. But many people who are working with me, Atul, you,
Kshitij.
Dr. Mihir Bapat, Dr. Kshitij Chaudhary, they have done job for me. I will tell you one thing. Rashid Juma told me, "Jungle mein मोर नाचा किसी ने ना देखा." डॉक्टर लेडी इतना आप बोलते हो, ये किया वो किया, डिस्काइटिस किया, ऑस्टियोटोमी किया, डिफॉर्मिटी किया, C1 C2 किया, बोलता है किधर, एविडेंस किधर है? And I told him that I can't do it. But these are the people. You are the people. You people are the people who has brought me, at least because of Atul and his publication, our method has become one of the most landmark. Otherwise, C1 C2 is a 1% of the spine, and that also very few people are interested. But it has put us in the very different category.
Okay, next question, sir. Private institute or KEM?
Samir, it is very difficult to answer. Still, I travel in the bus and the train. So you can say that case, yes, work is a great satisfaction. And I think so, I am a very different kind of a person. My mother or my wife demand anything, I tell that, sorry, I cannot give you this.
Dr. Goel,
but I think I cannot answer this question.
Yeah, I can very easily answer this question, that KEM is my mother, KEM is my life, and KEM has brought me where I stand. KEM has given me work, KEM has given me people like Dr. Lahiri and other people to work with. KEM has given me a girlfriend and later she became my wife. and she has given me my family, and KM is my everything. And KM, if I am without KM, I will be absolutely, yeah, I will make money, maybe good cars and good house, which I still don't have. And I want to have very soon, maybe. But KM, there is no question. Samir, I miss you in KM. You were a KM boy. And
I
of
know.
course, you
I
have
miss
done
KM
good
as well,
work.
yeah.
You have done fantastic work, which are unusual. Your kind of people in private hospitals are unusual people who have done good work. But I am not as talented as you have been, and how you have done, promoted your spine, promoted your work, and achieved what you have achieved. But for me, if you ask me, KEM has been the key factor.
And the last quick fire, Dr. Lahiri, starting with you, health or work? What is more important?
Samir, health is important because I have gone through the few problems, which has also, forced me to go slow. Otherwise, yes, 4 or 5 days in the mortuary, it will kill you. And this I have done 3-4 years till I was caught and given a memo. If you are seen in the mortuary again, you will be suspended from your job.
Dr. Goel, health or work?
See, health is absolutely important. Only you can work if you are healthy. And my feeling is to work properly, you have to be fit and fine. And you have to exercise your body. And recently, if you don't know, Samir, my work on rest of the spine, craniovertebral, of course, is there. Rest of the spine, now my work is very beautiful work on degenerative spine, on OPLL. I
Of
wish
course,
you
yeah.
sometime invite
Yes,
me
we
to
are
talk
seeing
on
that.
those
Yes,
subjects.
sure.
And my work is now focused on, human standing position, and how the muscles maintain your whole attire, and how the muscles, if you don't exercise, lead you to degenerative spine and OPLL and Hirayama disease and Chiari malformation and syringomyelia. So I have related all these anomalies and pathologies to one problem, and that problem is your muscle weakness and your neglect of your body. I think
So
that is
health is the most important. Yeah.
absolutely.
So as I said, we are completely out of time, but we just want to end.
Samir,
with, yes, sir.
1 minute.
Sure. Yeah.
Samir, my wealth is I will not say my student, but my colleagues. I think so. They are so brilliant. They are so perfect. They are so systematic. And their integrity is also high class. I think so. I am always happy that I had such a great, highly competent people. I was very dull and the foolish, sort of. But I was able to manage all these people quite well.
Okay. And Dr. Goel, from you, a last concluding words. I just want one or two sentences, not more, advice to the juniors who are listening, for them to set up their careers up. Just 2 lines. Guru Killi. I just want the Guru Killi.
My one big sentence is that you keep high aims. Low aim is a crime, not failure, but low aim is a crime.
Right.
You see, you will be surprised. There was a small kind of written sentence in Dr. Ravi Ramakant, who is also one of the great legends and one of the inspirers of mine, and Dr. Lahiri's good friend. In his room, it was written, low aim is a crime, not failure. I think we can do it, and we should do it. There is no way we cannot do with such huge workload, such number of patients, such diverse pathologies, such complex pathologies. If we are not able to do, nobody can do. If you have that feeling, if you have that ambitiousness, you can certainly do it, and particularly do it in India.
Perfect. So guys, we have learned so much from them today. We have learned what is dedication, hard work, slogging in the cadaver room. We have learned the value of thinking ahead of your times, innovations. We have also learned the value of publishing our work to get international acclaim and to aim high. At the same time, respect your health, respect your colleagues, and respect your juniors. Indeed, guys, we are fortunate to have such giants and legends in the spine scene in India. And as an inspiration to us, we will strive harder, and we owe it to them to do better. So thank you, everyone. And this is the last topic of the day. So I wish all of you good night.
So thank you, Samir. If I can just wind up with a few words which I want to incorporate. To all the four legends, thank you very much for their articulate presentations of how they have evolved in their careers. As Dr. Goel put it, with ambition and with passion. Also, how well they use their colleagues and their mentors to their benefit, and to improve and vast experience in the field of their interest. They kept pursuing what they wanted to. And they have surpassed difficulties, faced complications to be where they are with great finesse. There's a lot to learn from all of them, and we should never forget this session. I hand it over to Dr. Gautam Zaveri to wind up the session.
I think this was a fabulous session, starting with Dr. Boryani, who gave us insight into his development as a spinal oncosurgeon, his development of the WBB classification, and subsequently his arm block surgery, how he developed it, and how the tumor worked at the institute developed. I think it was fantastic to hear from him. So much to learn, so much for us to, as youngsters, to imbibe and aspire to. From Dr. Fellings from Canada all the way, he has come and he has enlightened us about the entire. If you Google spine surgeon or just Michael Fellings, you will find thousands of articles in which his name is there. He has been doing, I don't know when he sleeps. He has just so many articles, so much of work he has researched, published. And besides all this, of course, he's still doing a very, very busy clinical practice. And then to end it with all, we had our two own legends, people whom we are so proud of. And as you could see in the eyes of Dr. Lahiri, he was so proud of the legacy he has created in Indian spine surgery, a legacy which all of us know about and respect. So, sir, we are extremely grateful. India is extremely grateful to you people for the legacy you have created, for the research you have done, and coming from humble beginnings, growing to this kind of stature, striving hard. I think these are the values that the youngsters have learned today. It was a fascinating session. I thank each one of you, Dr. Fellings, Dr. Boryani, Dr. Lahiri, and Dr. Goel. I would also like to thank the interviewers who made great efforts at preparing for these interviews, Dr. Samir Dalvi, Dr. Rohit Amritanand, and Dr. Venkatesh Krishnan. I finally thank the moderators of the session, Dr. Sajesh Menon and Dr. Raghu Prasad Verma, and the MCs for this evening, Dr. Ankur, Dr. Neeraj, Dr. Charanjit, all of whom have been working very, very hard to make sure that the program goes without any hitch. It is 11:30 in the night, and we still have so many people watching us on this thing, and that is a credit to the type of program that we've had. I wish all of you good night and see you bright and early at 7:30 in the morning again, because we have got a Sunday loaded with fantastic sessions for you. Thank you very much again, and good night to all.